this video, we're going to look at setting tab stops for a paragraph. I've got this list right here, and I have non-printing characters showing, and I wanted to show you and remind you that that little dot means a space bar was set. I'm going to press the tab key. That character right there indicates a tab character. So I'm going to put a tab in front of each one of these numbers. Now what happened here when I pushed the tab key, notice that it did a first line indent. That's not, sometimes Word does that. It's trying to help me out there. But if I hold down the control key and press the tab key, then it does insert a tab key. I'm going to put a tab character in front of each one of these numbers for each one of these paragraphs. Then replace those spaces with a tab character. So now each paragraph has two tabs except for this last one. I'm going to leave it alone. When you do not set your own tab stops, it uses the default tab stops for the template. This template, based on the normal template, stopped at each half-inch mark. So if you look, all of these paragraphs stopped at the half-inch, and then the next tab stop was another half-inch away. But what happens if I set my own tab stops? I can do that with using the ruler bar. The left box to the left of the ruler bar, I can click to change. That's a center. That's a left. And then it also has a decimal, and that's a vertical bar tab. There's your hanging or first line indent, left indent, and now I'm back to the tabs. I'm going to leave the left. Now, one thing to think about when you're setting a left tab stop, the vertical bar on that tab stop symbol is when you press the tab key where the insertion stops. The horizontal part of that symbol is where the text flows from where you stop. I'm going to set the tab stop here on this first indent or first line on the ruler. But notice what happened. My insertion point was only on that paragraph, so only that paragraph changed. I'm going to undo. To be consistent, I'm going to highlight all of these paragraphs, and then I'm going to set the tab stop character again, and I'm right just underneath that line. Now instead of stopping at the half-inch mark, it's the tab stopped right there. And then I'm going to set the next one. Let's go 2 lines in. So my mouse is right there, left click, and now it's there. So that's how you can use the ruler. To use a dialog box, sometimes you want to be more precise. Maybe you're working with labels. You bring up the dialog launcher from the paragraph group. In that paragraph group, in the bottom left-hand corner, is the tabs dialog box. So that first one that I set was 0.13 inches on the ruler, and the second was 0.38. And they are both left, and they had no leaders. All right, what is a leader? Well, let's use that second tab stop. It leads up to that character. I'm going to pick a option 2, a dot leader. So between the 2 and the limes, there's going to be this dot. This leads up to the 0.38 tab stop. Click OK. Now see, all of those have a leader. To make it a little more noticeable, I'm going to move the tab stop to the half-inch. Now I'm going to bring back that dialog launcher, and you're going to see that that changed to 0.5. I find it's easier sometimes to change, because otherwise if I wanted this to be 10, I can delete that and then set another one. So let's go through the process. I will select the 0.3. I will clear it. Then I say I want this next one to be 0.5. 1. I set the alignment left. I don't want any leaders, and I have to click Set, so that adds it to the list there, and then click OK. If I want to change to a right align, then what I do is I'm going to bring back the tabs dialog box. I pick the 1/2 inch, I change the alignment to right, and then set, and click OK. Now I have a right alignment, but see, it can't get right because it's too close. So I'm going to pull it all the way over to the 3-inch mark. Now you can really see that this is a right align. If I change, and notice the symbol L for left, it's a backwards L for right. If I go back to the tabs, click on the 3-inch, change it to a center, now the text is going to be centered at the 3-inch mark on the ruler. Again, I have to click Set and then click OK, and now the text is centered on the right align. The bar, if I'm working with numbers, sometimes what I'll do is I pick the bar. If I set it right here, notice I have all these, it actually puts a vertical bar, and so when you're creating tab tables, that's very handy. The last thing, if I have decimals, so I'm going to go ahead and on each one of these, I'm going to add, I'll put some different decimals here. I'm going to tab, so they have the decimal point in different places. Now at this time I'm going to have to do tab. Alright, so now I have numbers with a decimal. I'm going to highlight those paragraphs, and I'm going to click until I get the decimal tab. Okay, that's the center with a dot. I'm going to click right here on the 4.5, and that lines all of those numbers according to where the decimal point is. I'm going to go ahead and bring up the dialog box for you, just so you can see. Now I have 4 tab stops. So there's my, when I select on 4.5, it says it's a decimal. Okay, that's it for this module.